If English was a big problem, you should have gone to an English speaking country. I'm gonna be honest with you. There are a lot of au pairs that I've seen on the groups do this. And there's au pairs that just take advantage of host families. Most of them are valid. Like they valid things. It says, sorry, my 45 hours are over. What is up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time, if you're a returning subscriber, how's it? What kind? So on Monday I asked host families, and I know I also asked the au pairs this question: what are your au pair horror stories, or just questions in general that you have but you're a bit nervous to ask? So I told people to either email me, I'll put the email on my screen, aupairquestions@gmail.com, and some people did. So if you haven't sent in your responses, you still can, because I'm thinking of doing part 2, because I don't think I'm gonna cover all the questions in this video, and this is specifically host family questions in this video. I am gonna do one answering the au pair questions because I had to like divide it up because it's just way too many questions. So yeah, so you can email them to me, you can DM me, social media, wherever. I put it on all the platforms. However, this is going to be anonymous, so I'm going to read these questions, but nobody's names are going to be on the screen or whatever. This is completely anonymous, just to safeguard and like protect the person who commented or sent this in. So let us go. Oh, as I said earlier, this is specifically host family questions, and so here we go. What can a host family do to make new au pairs feel more at home? Okay, we are a first-time host family and excited to welcome our au pair in 6 weeks. Welcome to the au pair program, the au pair world, I should say. We want to do all we can to make our au pair feel welcome at home and part of our family as soon as possible. I'm curious to hear what are things small or large that host families can do to make au pairs feel welcome, or anything you've had families do or wish they had done to make you feel settled better. So this question I love because it just shows that you're gonna be an awesome host mom or host dad or host family. So what can you do to make your au pair feel more settled? I would say the first 3 or 4 days they get there, depending on when they get there, just let them relax. Like still tell them, like, if you guys are going to the park, you're more than welcome to come to the park with us, you're more than welcome to do this, do that, but just give them time. I've had 4 families in total, and 2 families have given me time to relax, which were my last 2 host families who I love, who I'm still in contact with, and then the first 2 did not. And so I was super jet lagged for both incidents, where they gave me like the day I got there off, but then the next day they wanted me to start shadowing and interacting with the kids, and I felt like I was in such a daze, and like I felt like I just needed to sleep, or I just needed to like adjust to the time that was there, and just genuinely tired. And so even though I know you're excited and the kids are excited and you guys all just want to have this conversation and start the process, I think like at least the first 3 or 4 days, depending on like your schedule, just ease the au pair in. Don't be like, she gets here today and then the next day take her like on all these things. Maybe on the second day, on the third day she's been there, then you can like show her around or take her to all these things. But like if you are like, I would say the best thing is like the next day she gets there, whatever, maybe take her for lunch, or like all of y'all go to like a park, or go, if you guys are going to an amusement park, take her to an amusement park, or like go get her cell phone, like do light stuff. Don't instantly be like, okay, we're gonna drive you around, this is where the kids' schools are, this is where they have this curriculum, this is where they do this is where they do that, because it's so overwhelming, and like you just tired. Just think of a genuine human just being tired, and just like listen, and most au pairs come from far places, and so when you come from, like when I came from South Africa, my flight was like 16.5 hours. I did not want to come and instantly, even though I know it's a job, I'm not saying they must be lazy or don't give them work, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying understand that this person just comes from traveling, and traveling can be draining. And then what else can you do to make them feel settled and welcome? I think just treat them like how you would treat your nieces and nephews when they're around, because like there's always food in the fridge. Have open communication, express, because we can't read minds. So like say, hey, is it okay if you do this? Hey, I don't think you should do it. I was like, I appreciate you doing this, but this is how we do it in this house, so do you mind doing it this way? I think that the families that I've had open communication with have been the greatest matches for me, because even in the toughest times we're able to sit down and have a conversation. And so I think, yeah, communication is the biggest thing. And then just like spoil your au pair every now and then. Like if you feel like, okay, this week she's gone above and beyond, a little $10 Starbucks card will not hurt anyone. Be like, hey, here's a Starbucks card. I know it's been a hectic week. My kids have been crazy. Thank you so much. Or like if you go into the grocery store and you see like a chocolate, buy a chocolate and a card and be like, thank you so much. Obviously not everyone has money to give $10 extra, but just buy her a chocolate, or like buy her favorite yogurt and be like, thank you so much, I just got this for you, thank you. I know it's been a rough week. Me and my husband have been like working crazy and coming late, and you just had to pull weight. So it's stuff like that that could make an au pair feel more comfortable around you and also just more welcome. Okay, is this normal? Okay, our au pair arrived on Thursday night. She hung around with us on Friday, Saturday. We had two activity heavy days, meaning you guys had a lot of stuff to do. Okay, today she's taking a day off today, and we were told to give her 3 days. Today is day 3. I haven't asked anything of her. I've purchased her meals. I've organized for her meets with au pairs on Friday and Saturday. What's weird is this girl barely talks at all. If I don't talk to her or ask her questions, she doesn't speak. It's not the language. Her English is great. She spoke just fine with the other au pairs, but is obviously very shy. She is also not engaging with our son at all. I mean, she has barely spoken to him yesterday. I was getting him out of the car and some toys fell out and rolled on the ground near her feet. She didn't even bend over to pick them up. She just stood there while I picked them up, and she seemed very sweet but completely unengaged completely. Okay, let me tell you what's wrong with your au pair. So basically, if you guys couldn't hear, this au pair got there, and then she got there, and then the next day for 2 days after that, they did heavy activities, meaning the kids had a lot of things to do. And then the third day, they gave her off, but the host mom's like, she should be working for at least 3 days, and 3 days, she should be off for at least 3 days, then she can work. And so she's like, number one, if she was off, why were you guys doing heavy activities with her? I know you were showing her around, but if she was off, she's meant to stay at home. And this is a case of what I just spoke about with the first person, where I said, let your au pair have a break, because it sounds here like, because she's saying the au pair is disengaged and the au pair is not like helping out or interacting with the kids, but she looks like she has more energy with the au pairs around her. I mean, yeah, with the other au pairs, but not with the host family. So your problem here, number one, was the au pair just needs to sleep. I'm not even gonna lie. A good nap, some food, just let her chill and ease in, because what's happening is, if she's a first time au pair, she's also probably homesick. Because homesickness, people think homesickness comes 2 months into it. It comes the minute you land. She could be homesick from the hotel to your house. It sounds like your au pair is homesick, and she is also just like very shy, not very shy, nervous, and just trying to figure out and trying to gauge what type of like family you are. I wouldn't say judge the rest of her here based on this. I just think she needs to sleep, or like she just needs some downtime, and then she'll be okay. Now, if it's 6 months in and she's still not engaging, some people are shy, but I don't think like she can't be like checked out the whole time, because it sounds like she's also checked out. I genuinely think that this au pair just really needs rest and just needs to like settle in, and she's also just probably observing like your family. She can't be like talkative with you when she just met you, because at the end of the day, you're still a host mom. And in some cultures, especially people who are older than us, we tend to be taught to respect you. So I won't be chatty with you the first day I meet you, because I don't know you. However, after a few days or a few months, I start opening up to you and I start talking to you like you're my aunt. So that also could be a problem. She's probably also like, this is my boss and these are my friends. So when you see her with the au pairs, yes, she's going to be chatty because it's her peers, it's people on her level. And she's like, oh, okay. And chances are those au pairs are probably from her home country, which make her feel more comfortable. Whereas you're a complete stranger, and even though she's living in your house, she still doesn't trust you yet to be open enough. I hope that makes sense. Okay, next one, perspective needed. Okay, this is me mostly just venting. So this is a venting one. But my peer is starting to drive me a bit nuts and I don't know what to do about it. Okay, why is she driving you nuts? What did she do to drive you nuts? To start off, she's amazing with my baby and I have no issues there. Okay, so what's the problem? Our expectations. I thought we were very clear. I made a super detailed PowerPoint outlining of what she has to expect to do. Okay, her duties, guys, I'm paraphrasing, but some of these things are just like long. Her duties are everything baby related and that's it. No cooking for family, no dish. First of all, why are you saying no cooking for family as if that's her job? Like, I know some au pairs, when they match with families, they agree to cook. And I would, like, my first host family, I didn't. But technically her job is to cook for the kids only, not for family. Unless other agencies have different rules. Okay, where was I? Okay. No additional chores. What additional chores? No looking after the dogs. The dogs are not hers. So I'm confused. She works 9 to 5. She works 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the other 5 hours we plan to use for going out or for emergencies, but we only used them twice. She got here in December and she worked 40 hours per week, 90% of the time. We cover all our food expenses. She has access to the car whenever she wants to use it, and we cover gas. We paid half of a new iPhone for her when she got here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's the problem here. To start, she's a very picky eater. She basically won't eat anything we prepare, but she asks me to DoorDash food for her all the time. That's nice. This is my thing with the food thing. There are host families that starve au pairs and it's just wrong. And then there's au pairs that just take advantage of host families. And so if you wouldn't buy the food for yourself or eat it, if you were paying for it out of pocket, why would you bill it to your host family? Because I feel like there's some au pairs, and I know like one of my old host families had this problem. Well, not one, the one I'm still in contact with, the good one. They had an au pair after me, and she came from a country and she was like eating normal foods, whatever. And then a few months later, she decided she wants to switch it up. She wants to go like super healthy vegan, and like she would start getting like all these expensive foods on their card, and she had a budget. So let's say her budget was $250 per week, for example. Obviously, because of the type of foods she wanted to eat, $250 was no longer enough. And it started seeming like she was becoming ungrateful and entitled, and I do not condone that. I do not condone au pairs that would become entitled and expect your host family, even though for me it's a law legally my host family has to provide food for me. If there's no food in the house, I will buy food for that day. I'm not gonna starve myself because my host family is not feeding me. However, I've had host families where they don't buy food in general, and so every single day you're buying food. Now that is wrong, because they're meant to provide food for you every single day, 3 meals. Now, if it's like one day where my host mom hasn't gone to the grocery store, sure, I will buy myself something to eat. But even still, my host mom will be like, oh no, why are you, like, I'm gonna reimburse you, like, give me your receipt, that kind of stuff. But au pairs who take advantage, like I always say to au pairs, if you're not going to buy it for yourself with your own money, then why are you going to bill it to host family? Because suddenly people want to be eating caviar and like eating all this fancy stuff when they themselves, if they had to take it out of their own pocket, they wouldn't buy it. So that's where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this au pair asking you to DoorDash her. Like, unless, like, is she giving you the money back for the DoorDash? Because if there's food in the house, what she chooses to eat outside of that is out of her own pocket. So like, if you guys buy, and I'm talking about buy proper food, don't buy stuff like, let's say if you vegan and she's not vegan, you kind of have to also buy her like normal food that she eats, like meat or whatever, even though you vegan. But I'm talking about, let's say she is you guys buy all her type of food, like everything that she eats is everything on her list, you buy it, and then she's like, you know what, I don't want this, I want Indian tonight. Girl, buy your own Indian food. If they have everything that's on your list in the house, then buy your own Indian food, or add the ingredients to the shopping list, and next time they can buy the ingredients and you can cook it. But like DoorDash, that's like when you go out. So with my host family and most host families, when you're in the house or you go out for dinner with them, they cover it. But if you go out with your friends on your own, you cover it. And it's the same, when I get Uber Eats, I pay for my own Uber Eats. Like, the DoorDash thing is a bit of a thing. It's a bit of a cheat. Okay, let's see what's the DoorDash. 3 times a week. DoorDash is also expensive. Which at first didn't bother me because I thought she was adjusting, but now it's kind of nuts. Especially since we order all the groceries she requests. If we take her out, yeah, so they buy her groceries, so I don't understand. If we take her out anywhere, she has no shame ordering a drink, an appetizer, and dessert. At first fine, but now I'm like serious. So girl, homegirl be going ham. She like, my phone is like in my pocket. Homegirl be going crazy. So she like orders a drink, an appetizer, a starter, a main, a finish, a ending, a dessert. I don't know, I feel like, I don't want to say she's taking advantage, but at the same time, there are some au pairs that are, and I'm going to say, there are some au pairs that are very entitled. And it's like, it's annoying because it makes all of us seem bad. Okay, we go out, we don't expect her to watch the baby, but we consider waiting on her. She takes like 3 showers a day. I don't understand. Okay, the shower part, let me tell you something. The shower part is probably a cultural clash because I know in America, and I'm not saying everyone does this, but you guys don't shower a lot. And I'm not saying, don't come for me, all host moms, and say we shower, whatever. I'm just saying like there are some families that don't, them and the kids don't shower every day. So I can see why 3 showers seem a lot. However, and I know as South Africans, most of us take 2 showers a day in winter. And then in summer, it's really hot. And so we take 3 showers a day, and I'll explain why. And it's like, in the morning you shower before you start work. During the day you with the kids, you shower, and then you go out at night with your friends and you go do stuff, whatever, and you come back and you shower before you sleep because you don't want the germs on your bed. And so that's why it can sound like crazy. Now if she's in the house the whole day and she showers in the morning and then she showers before bed, absolutely fine, makes sense. So there's no need for her to shower the 3rd time. But if you go in the morning to work and then you go play outside with the kids, you shower before you go out for dinner with your friends or that kind of stuff, and then at night. Let's see, I'm trying to see what else. If we tell her ready by 6 p.m, we often have to wait a little extra, half an hour for her to be ready. You guys wait a half an hour extra? So if you guys leave at 6, you guys wait an extra half an hour. So I'm going to read the rest of this because I feel like this question is taking a lot. Well, these questions, there's a lot of questions in one, but I'm just going to read it quick and then I'll give you my answer. Okay, we've often had to wait extra 6.5 hours. Not only that she's to get the baby shit packed, let the dogs out. What? I should see that scrambling to get the baby stuff together, get the dogs out, tidy up, and she'll never offer to help. Okay, that's fine. She saw herself as a hard worker and someone that wants to contribute to the family. Was she frequently leave the dishes behind for us to clean. She never cleans her room. We have cleaners who come once a month, and she usually wakes up at 10 minutes before we hand her the baby at 9 a.m. So, even if she gets up 5 minutes before you'll hand her the baby, that got nothing to do with you guys, to be honest. The cleaners come once a month. She doesn't clean her room. Did you guys say she has to clean her room? Because I know in my contract with all 4 host families, they were like, you in charge of cleaning your room, therefore I clean my room. Well, I just also clean it because it's just a clean thing to do. She also definitely oversaw her English abilities and her driving abilities a lot. English abilities, what country was she coming from? Because yes, some people say they know English, but if English was a big problem, you should have gone to an English speaking country. Like honestly, if English was gonna be something you knew that you were gonna have a problem with, you should have went to English speaking country. And then how was your Zoom calls? Because you can gauge, like you could have had 2 or 3 Zoom calls with the person to see how the English thing is. Because I think it's unfair to complain about her English now when you've had 2 or 3 calls with her, at least 2 calls with her, and you didn't judge from there, number 1, and then number 2, her country. You know what I'm saying? Like if English is not her first speaking country, then you can't like complain. Even if she says she knows English, I know Afrikaans, but I don't think I would match with an Afrikaans family. See, it's like, even though English, like I speak Afrikaans and I understand it, it doesn't mean I would match an Afrikaans family because everyday Afrikaans is probably harder. I know basic Afrikaans, and that was her thing. And then what else did you say? She said, oh, her driving. With driving, like what country does she come from? Because I know when I first came, I drove on the left. I come from a country that drives on the left side, and the steering wheel is also on the other side. And so yeah, the steering is on the left. In South Africa it's on the right, and driving is on the left side of the road. And so it took me a while to adjust. Thank God I had host families that just trusted me to like drive. And then I also think maybe depending, I don't know how bad she is, make her drive in the neighborhood by herself, because she also could be just nervous driving with you guys. So all the staff is a hard worker. Well, everyone says they're a hard worker even if they're not. Sorry. We both from the same country, so we generally speak in native language. Okay, so you're from the same country and you're speaking in native language. I don't understand why is English a problem. But she can barely communicate with my husband. She just pretends to understand and will tell me later he was telling her something. Oh, so you want like your husband can't give her details, so she doesn't understand. Yeah, nah. I think if you knew that you were gonna have, you should have, if your husband was the one who weren't going to be able to understand, I think you should have had him maybe have more conversations with her, because you guys could have engaged. Like, ask the au pair, like, not basically, like, not, like, if you're getting an au pair, for example, from a country that doesn't speak English, okay, and English is your priority, have conversations that are not as basic as, like, don't be like, so how are you? Everyone can say, I'm fine, what you do. Be like, so, tell me about your family. So, what do you do at work? Explain to me your job. Like, what's a normal day at work? So, what do you guys do for Christmas? Have conversations that are like, she would need to draw out more of her English, if I'm making sense. That way you can gauge, like, oh, she was able to explain her job. She was able to tell me what they do for Christmas. Be like, what are basic things you do when you're babysitting kids? That way you can see if she understands, like, oh, I take them to the park. So when you and your husband say, like, can you take the baby to the park? She's not like, huh? What? And then be like, do you like washing dishes with your family? Do you like doing laundry with your family? That way you guys are using words that you're going to use in your house, and you can kind of see if she understands it on the call or not. And then you'll know from there whether to match with the girl or not. This is just for future host moms. If English is a problem, you need to do this. Okay. We work from home a lot, so there's a lot of time she doesn't get things done. Baby's laundry, cleaning, and hygiene, because she's taking a nap while the baby's taking a nap, and talking to her family on the phone. So, did you guys say she can take a nap while the baby's sleeping? Because I don't know. But, washing the baby stuff, doing the baby's high chair is a requirement, because it's to do with the child's things. Anything child related, she has to do. And I'm not talking about be like, this fridge is for the kids, so wash the fridge. No, there are host families that do that. I'm talking about like their clothes, pack away their toys, and if the kids are older, to help her, and in their room, and in the kitchen, the counter where she was making their food, stuff like that. With regards to taking a nap, if you guys say that, yeah, sure. But I know with us, we weren't allowed to be like taking naps, unless host family said it, but we weren't allowed to take naps when kids are taking naps, but then maybe she knows that you and your husband are in the house, so that's fine. But I wouldn't be taking naps if it was just me and my host kid. I would like probably open my room door, because our rooms are near. Open my room door and sit on my bed and like type and do stuff or whatever, or watch TV. But I'll be awake, because if he gets up, I need to be up too. She just rubs me the wrong way, and a lot of stuff is basic, being a functional adult. I know I just need to communicate better, but I'm just exhausted. I also understand that maybe I should have just gotten a nanny who is not going to be in my business the whole time. But I'm hoping to see this through the end of the year, so any advice? Okay, I think, honestly, you're basically regretting having an au pair. I think you need to communicate this and say, because like some of your things are, most of them are valid. Like they valid things. Some of them I'm like, okay, fine, she gets up 10 minutes before the baby. That whole thing is up to her. She can stink and all, that's her own tea. But the part where she just like stands and like watches toys, or if you're out, like when I go on vacation with my host family, most of the time I don't work, or even if we go for dinner, it's just you and decency to help. Like, I know I'm not on the clock, so I'm not working, that kind of stuff. I'm just having dinner with them. But if I see and my previous host family, at that time they had a smaller son. He was probably like 3 or 4. And what I would do is when our food came, I would eat my food while the mom is walking with them, and then I'd say to her, you come get your food. So we even created that way, like she would say to them in the kitchen, don't bring out my food first, like bring it out last. So I would eat my food, and then me and him would just like walk around. We could go play a game if there's like a game machine close by. I would just like entertain him that way. She can also eat her food, and it's like for 15-20 minutes, not even like 20 minutes, probably like 15 minutes. And she'd always be like, I know you're not working, whatever. And I'm like, I know I'm not working, but it's just like, you know, just helping one another out. Or like if we're jumping in the car and there were 2 kids, I'd help buckle the one and she'd buckle the other, because we all went for brunch or something like that. And it's not to say it's my job, I'm off the clock, I know it, but it's just like common decency, just to like help out, you know. I don't know, like I guess some people are different, but majority of the au pairs, even my friends who have gone for dinner with their host families, they would like help out their host families there and then. And it's not like, oh my gosh, you owe me for this. Next question. I feel like this question was so long. I'm probably going to put it at the end. Request for au pair opinions. Au pairs. This is, oh, but there's host moms. This is a host mom video. Okay. This is for au pairs. Hi all. Okay. Hi all. I am a stay-at-home mom to basically a 2-year-old twins, and my husband wants to hire an au pair. I am very interested in the idea as well. We've been researching how it works and a few questions I'd like to know. Okay, what are the questions? Our au pair will have her own bathroom with her own bedroom with an attached bathroom, her own car and drive, and flexible schedule. Okay, we are mostly just looking to have extra set of hands playing with the twins and light housekeeping chores, dishwasher, kids, laundry, pick up toys. We also love the idea of bringing someone with a different culture in the background. Okay, so what are the questions? Yeah, so is it allowed for au pairs to watch the children over a long weekend, 1 or 2 times per year, if my husband and I want to take a kid-free weekend getaway, for extra cash, of course? So that's something you would have to work out with your au pair. Like legally, they say no. So legally, I'm not an agency, but legally it's a no, because they say the au pair can only work maximum 10 hours. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. There are a lot of au pairs that I've seen on the groups do this. They are like, when I was in New Jersey, when I was in New Jersey, there were au pairs who, like, the husband worked. So I had a friend who, her host mom was also a single mom, and the husband worked, and the husband had to go away to like Vegas or something for I think it was, he went to Vegas or Colorado, 1 or 2. He went for the whole week for work, for like a business trip, whatever. And the wife joined him, I think, the Wednesday, Thursday to the Friday, and they came back Saturday morning. And that whole time, my friend had the kids. They also have twins, a girl and a boy. And so I would say it is doable. She did it for extra cash too, but it depends on your au pair, to be honest. I'm just being real. But the agencies and legally is a no. What are the other questions? Be honest. What makes a great host family? What makes an awful host family? We want to have a successful experience. What makes a great host family? I said in the beginning. What makes an awful host family is non-considerate people. Like, if you're gonna be late, text the au pair. If you don't need the au pair, don't have her work. Like, it's the nicest thing when my host family comes home early and they're like, hey, we're back, we got you. Now, sometimes they come home early, but they still have work to do. That's absolutely fine. Now, if they came home and I'm on the clock and they're like, can you guys just chill in the basement or upstairs, and they're sitting and watching TV, I would genuinely feel a certain type of way, because I'd be like, you don't need me, but you're just doing it because you want to finish your hours. Whereas when you do need me, I'm gonna be like, no, because it's gonna be like, oh, so like, if you don't need an au pair, don't be sitting and watching TV. You could be watching TV with your kids. Let her have that free time to go do whatever she does. And you know why I'm saying that is because there's gonna come a time when you're gonna have a work emergency or a family emergency. Let's say somebody got rushed to hospital from your family and you need to go to the hospital and you don't know how long you're gonna be at the hospital. guess who you're gonna need to be with the kids until you get back? That same au pair that you were like, you know what, I need her to work maximum 45 hours. Because what you're gonna do if the au pair turns around and says, sorry, my 45 hours are over, you have to look for au pair all of a sudden. I mean, you have to look for another nanny all of a sudden, or you have to look for somebody to look up their kids. Because the au pair's like, hey, I know you have an emergency, or I know you want to do something, but I can't, I'm gonna sleep. It's exactly the same thing. So a great host family would be somebody who's considerate. Not a great host family is like somebody who just uses you just to finish their hours. Okay, come on people, I feel like you guys are giving me like, well, these are questions and like horror stories, but like I need juicy ones. Will my au pair be bored? I have a 2-year-old little girl and I've considered having an au pair come stay with our family. My hesitation comes because I'm afraid she would be bored. We live in Florida, but not in a wildly exciting city. We're 20 minutes from the beach, and even though we live in an urban neighborhood, our downtown kind of stinks, and we're only walkable to a coffee shop, bakery, ice cream shop, and a few restaurants or store, art store. The only real bonus is that we have a great guest house, so she would have a hole. So she, oh, basically, they live in a boring town. And it's near ice cream shop, it's near a few little things, but nothing like fancy. 20 minutes from the beach in Florida. The only fancy thing is that she will have like a massive outbuilding, and it'll have a kitchen, stove, all these other things, basically a second house. They want to know if she's going to be bored. Some au pairs like to be home, some au pairs are like homebody. And tell them, say, hey, this is where we live. Because like my Colorado family kept telling me, like, it's not like New York, it's not like New York, it's not like New York, it's quiet, whatever. And it was my best time ever. It was like, to drive to a mall was like 3 hours away, but I had friends there because we were all in this small town, and I loved it. It was like one of the best places to live, because from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, there's nothing. There's just like a little Ross, a little Walmart. There's like literally like a small town with all these little stores. But I really enjoyed it. I honestly had so much fun there because I know how to entertain myself. I found the gym, I found hiking spots, I was inside. So it's like, it depends on the person. And tell the au pair so she knows coming in, and I knew going in when they said to me, it's not as fancy as you think it is. You know, it's like a small town. It's like this, you know, these are the few things you can do, but it's a small town. And I knew going in, but I still really enjoyed it. So if you have the conversation with the au pairs, they will know coming in, and then they can decide from there if they want to match with you. Au pair travel. I think this is going to be my last one because I feel like this video is already so long. I am gonna answer this question and then I'm gonna do a part 2. I'm gonna split it up because I only did like what, 6 questions, and it's long and I still have way more, and I want to get through all these questions. Okay, au pair travel. Curious about this because it seems insane to me. If the au pair travels with me, she has to have a private bedroom, so we can't just stay in a hotel, in hotels. That seems super weird to me, since it means basically she just won't get to travel with us. It's just not always possible to afford two-bedroom apartments. We're supposed to treat her like family, but when we travel as family, we usually get someone else on the sofa bed. Someone takes the bed. So if protocol, I just don't invite her. Is it not responsible to get a 2-bedroom place where we're going? So basically, they want to know like if the au pair can share a room with them. I would say, if you guys get a suite, she can get like the couch bed, whatever, or another bed. Or if the au pair is fine with the couch, this is a thing where, even though this is a rule, it's something you and your au pair can talk about. I don't think, like, I wouldn't be so hurt if my whole family's like, come with me. But you know, like, if my host kid was a girl, I wouldn't mind sharing with them. But like, if they were like, you have to sleep on like sleeper couch or whatever, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go, how dare you, offended, that situation. I think it depends on the host family, to be honest. It depends on the host family and the au pair. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna end this one, and I am gonna see you guys with the next host family questions and horror stories, because this is just a long video already. I can feel it. So if you have more questions, come in. Come. I want to answer them. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in part 2. Bye.